Hey, are you wanting to make the move to Idaho, the Boise, Idaho area, and you're wondering, man, what should I know before I make this move? Like, before I uproot everyone and head to Idaho? Well, in this video, I'm gonna cover the things that you should know before making a move to the Boise, Idaho area. My name is Greg Langhaim. I'm an associate broker here in the Boise, Idaho area, and I can help you buy or sell real estate. I've got a great team here that's standing by, ready to assist you and to learn more about your situation so that we can put a game plan together that's right for you. So don't hesitate to pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so that we can connect and really shape how that conversation will go based off your goals, your timeline, and any questions you have about making the move to the Boise, Idaho area. So in this video, we're gonna cover, what's it like living here? What are the things to do? What's the outdoor recreation scene look like? What's the food scene look like? Is there good restaurants? Are there good places to eat? Housing prices, Greg, what's going on with the market in Boise? We're gonna tap into that and really kind of give you a full experience about what it could be like moving here and what you should know when moving to the Boise, Idaho area. The first thing you need to know about when coming to the Boise, Idaho area is you do have to get out and explore. There is so much to do here in the Boise, Idaho area that's really at your fingertips. A lot of it's gonna happen up in the foothills or down by the river that you really have to spend some time to get familiar with that area to go and do. But we're talking whitewater park if you're a surfer or you're a kayaker. We have tons of whitewater kayaking about 45 minutes to an hour away up Highway 55 in a little town called Banks, Idaho, where the rivers come together and you can really get some good whitewater rafting. We also have whitewater rafting further up the river. On the Salmon River, you have jet boat tours. If you want to ride on a jet boat across the river and go flying up the river, we have that. There are so many things that you can do here in the outdoor recreation. So we have hiking. Tons of trails. We have the greatest trail system. It's called the Ridge to Rivers Trail System. It connects all the trails in the foothills here in Boise, Idaho. One of the hardest hikes to do here in the area is Bora. Mount Bora is a steep doozy of a climb, and that will take really some experience climbing. You have so many walking trails, not only just trails along the river or the greenbelt, and in the foothills, but in your neighborhood. There's so much to do. So when you come to Boise, Idaho, just be prepared to educate yourself on what is around you and how to access it, and join a lot of groups. The private Facebook group in Go Idaho, you can ask anyone about trail, a mountain bike, where to ride your e-bike, where to kayak, go out to Lake Lowell and do some kayaking. Go to Lucky Peak, do some boating. There is just so much, and the fishing is incredible here. I came from Oregon. I remember when I was moving to Oregon, I had a fly fisherman buddy that would take me out and fly fish, and I told him I was moving to Idaho. He's like, oh man, there's no fish in Idaho. I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much fishing here. So he ended up moving to Wyoming. He's living it there, but he kind of made fun of me because I was moving to Idaho. But I'm like, the steelhead fishing is incredible. But hey, maybe you're just gonna pull up an RV and you're gonna move up here with an RV. You will be in heaven here in Idaho. There are so many RV parks and campgrounds to pull your RV to. One I just posted recently out in Henry's Lake, which is 10 miles from Yellowstone, but it's still in the state of Idaho, so it's eastern Idaho. It's kind of a 3 or 4 hour drive from Boise. But Henry's Lake, you can pull your RV and go out and fish and catch some trout. What's cool about Henry's Lake is there's actually, it kind of borders up the Yellowstone, so you do get a ton of wildlife into that area. It's not a lake to go swimming at. I mean, you can, but algae and leeches, all that stuff, really, but it is just gorgeous. The setting is impeccable. And so you have places all around Boise, Idaho that you can take your RV and do some real fun camping. And you will have so many places to go that are, it's just like, you're going to be blown away at how close everything is. Because I've talked to people, and if they're coming from, let's just say California, sometimes you have to go a little ways to pull that RV to find a nice campground or RV park. Here they are plentiful. You can just drive 45 minutes, 90 minutes and have a great time being outside of the city. So if you're thinking, gosh, do I want to move to Boise, Idaho? Is Boise, Idaho going to be a place for me? If you like the outdoors, you like camping, you want to live a little bit more than maybe what you're doing right now, it's going to be a fantastic place, and you will do so much exploring. We haven't even touched going to North Idaho, to Coeur d'Alene. All that stuff is just so close and so great. So tons of RV parks, tons of hiking, tons of mountain biking, tons of fishing, tons of kayaking, canoeing. Anything that you can think of outdoors. Rock climbing, oh my gosh, there's so much rock climbing, especially down at the City of Rocks. If you haven't been to the City of Rocks and you've come to Idaho, it's about 3 hours southeast of Idaho, Boise, Idaho, and it's an incredible rock climbers haven. Just this rock formation is out of this world, and top rock climbers from all the world go down there and rock climb. There's rock climbing gyms here. So anything that you can think of that you're passionate about, guaranteed we have here in the Boise, Idaho area. Something you should also know about Boise, Idaho, and considering making a move here, is it's growing fast. It is a fast growing area. A lot of people are coming from not just California, but all over the country. We just toured a gentleman who's been in Florida for quite some time and is looking to move out west, not because he doesn't like Florida, it's just his kids are in Colorado and maybe they just don't want to be in Colorado. So Idaho and the Boise area was the next best place as far as distance to their kids, and still having like that quality of life that they're looking for, where they can get out and do things. So because Boise is kind of blowing up, there is a lot of demand for housing, a lot of demand for employment, demand for infrastructure. So just keep in mind that, a lot of people think, oh, hey, Boise, I hear you can get a half acre or something like that in town for nothing. It's just not true. It's not accurate information. This housing area is booming. We'll talk about that later in the video, but just know that it is a growing area. So with that comes awesome opportunities, new restaurants to check out, new businesses that are moving in. I mean, we've got Topgolf already here. Scheels is opening. Their grand opening is going to be next week, which is going to be awesome if you're into the outdoor equipment type of store and outdoor stuff. That's going to be taking over here in Meridian. So you have a lot of people coming, and that can create different traffic flow, different traffic patterns. When you first move here, if you're coming from a busy area, you're going to be like, no problem, Greg, I can do this in my sleep all day long. But after you've been here for a while, you really start to notice like, hey, it's kind of building up a little bit. It's a little bit more busier than I thought, or more people, there's more traffic. So you just start to notice this a little bit as you've settled in and kind of found your jam and your rhythm of where you're moving to, or where you're living and going to and fro. So with that, you have schools that are, kind of like getting a little bit harder to open and roll into. You have a lot more opportunities for schooling and better education here than a lot of the states that people are relocating from. But just know that, it is getting a little bit more busy around with everything. So roads are being closed because they're widening, or they're rerouting traffic because they're fixing this or putting in a water thing here. Just keep that in mind. We have so much growth. Meta, obviously, they're going out in CUNA. I've heard recently that Google just put a bid out to develop a huge thing out in CUNA. So with that going out in CUNA, and we already have Micron and their big new chip facility that's being built, there's going to be a lot of demand for jobs. Electricians are going to be in high demand when you come here. So if you're an electrician, you're watching this, man, Idaho is going to, anything in the trade really, if you're coming to Idaho, you're going to be in such high demand. So if you're worried like, okay, I've got my own business here in Florida or Arizona, whether that's a pool cleaning business or a pool building business, or electrician, handyman, and carpet cleaner, anything in the trade, you come to Idaho, you will be booked up right away, and it's going to be a good thing. So we do have demand for those type of jobs that are coming here. So keep that in mind. So things to know when you move to Idaho is there's a lot of people moving here, and that's going to create some opportunity, but also some pain points with traffic patterns and just growth and new construction. So I mentioned schools just a little bit ago, and with the schooling options, what you should know when you move to Idaho is you have fantastic public education. You can go private, of course, you could go charter, and you could do homeschooling. So those are kind of like the core school choices for your children if you have kids that are moving here. So the homeschool thing, I always think that's kind of weird, but oh my gosh, it's so popular, and so many more parents are choosing to do that when they move here to Idaho. And when I hear what they're doing, and I'm just looking at what my kids are doing, I'm like, guys, maybe we should go homeschool. But anyways, that's a personal choice, discussion for your family. But you do have a great, great, great homeschooling community here in the Boise area. It's fantastic. A lot of great teachers that are coming in here who have taught and who are just so burnt out of maybe the environment they were in. They come to Idaho with their teaching credentials and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So the school options, colleges, you have Boise State, you have U of I, you have College of Idaho. So you have some options right here in the Treasure Valley. So you really have some good things. And then you could go down to Twin Falls. That's 90 minutes to 2 hours away from the Boise area. There's a college down there that, you know, you kids could go to, or you could ship them over to Pocatello and have them go to school over in Pocatello at the university over there. So there's a lot of options for schooling and colleges. Maybe you have someone who, you know, your situation is like, oh, I've got a senior right now, like trying to see what they want to do. Introduce them, bring them up to Boise, let's connect, and let's show them the Boise State campus. Let's walk right downtown. It's super clean when you come here. That's the biggest thing that people always say is like, oh my gosh, Greg, it is so clean, like super clean. Like the neighborhood's clean, the downtown's clean. Like it is very clean. Like you guys definitely have a pride of ownership and cleanliness, I guess. I'm sure there's pockets and there are pockets that aren't as clean as everyone says, but for the most part, you'll be blown away. I have people that come in and say, okay, Greg, you know, pull down the curtain. Let's see what's the city really like. Like, where's all this stuff? I'm like, you're seeing it. This is it. There's just so much, I think, just pride of not wanting to let the city go the way that we do see some cities across the country going. And so you might see people running as the wind's blowing that wrapper across the driveway or across the parking lot, someone running after it in the grocery store, picking it up to throw it away. So you do have that. You do have great universities. You have great schooling system. You do have open enrollment, which is really unique. So for instance, I'm in the Boise school district, but if my daughter or my son wanted to, like my son currently wants to open enroll to another high school, so we would just apply for that. And of course, first come, first serve basis, but we do have that option. And as long as we can get him there, then maybe that would work out for him, and nightmare for us to have to drive over there, but no, it'll work out. So you do have that option too, that flexibility, and there's a lot of cool science and math programs. There's culinary programs in the high school. One thing I love is the DTech program, which, you know, if you have a son or a daughter who's interested in becoming EMT or a certified a CNA or auto, anything, they can all get that done when they graduate and get some real world experience their senior year, which is fantastic. All that's available right here in the Boise area. So something you should know about is, you know, the education is really good and there's a lot of options for that. If you're liking this video and you're saying, hey, I think I want to make that move to the Boise, Idaho area, down below in the description, I have a relocation guide. This will give you so much more information about our area. It's free, just plug in your information and that relocation guide will get emailed right to you. I also have my team, we have a love it or leave it guarantee, meaning if you hire us and move to the Boise, Idaho area and you are not in love with your house after 12 months, we will turn around and sell it to you at no cost. So we have that love it or leave it guarantee for you. We have a relocation guide. You can grab all the details right down below in the description. Okay, the food scene is starting to really pick up here in the Treasure Valley in the Boise, Idaho area. We have some great restaurants, some fantastic restaurants opening up and have been open that are just killing it. But one famous restaurant when you come here, okay, I'll give you a couple famous restaurants that you have to try when you get here. The first one is Barbacoa. It's a little bit more high end, but my favorite part is they like set your steak on fire and like pour some stuff over. It's amazing. So if you're coming here and you have some extra cash for a nice dinner, make reservations at Barbacoa. I'll put their link down below in the description of this video as well. An iconic stop that you have to have is at West Side Drive-In. It is a potato ice cream. Just go to the West Side Drive-In, ask for the potato ice cream. It's just a sundae, but it looks like a baked potato because it's Idaho, so you gotta love that. Finger steaks are a big deal here in Idaho, so we had a big thing. You could go to Big Bun for some finger steaks. Fancy Freeze has some good finger steaks. Try that out. Some really nice, if you want to go to a food hall, you know, just kind of like, you just want to go somewhere and just kind of see what everything is. It's called The Warehouse in downtown Boise off 8th Street. That has a variety. You can get lobster rolls, you can get barbecue, you can get some pizza. You get just a variety of food that's right down there in downtown. So if you're out walking around, you get hungry, we have a ton of restaurants that are downtown available for you. So the food scene, Holy Cow Burger is fantastic. I've done videos on that. So if you're looking in Eagle, if you're looking in Meridian, and you're like, I want to get something to eat, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You know, or why don't I just put my food guide down below in the description. Check down there and I'll have that food guide available for you to click and request a copy of, and I'll send it over to you. So there's an ongoing debate who has the best street tacos here in the Mexican scene. Some say it's up in Nampa, some say it's in Caldwell, some say it's in Middleton, some say it's in Boise. I love just a street taco carne asada. I actually really like this truck over here in Boise off of Fairview Avenue in Maple Grove. It's Lorena's. It's just this Mexican food truck, and they just do great carne asada street tacos. I'm a fan. The ceviche, someone said, isn't that great, but you know, I'm pretty simple. I'm a simple guy. I just want to eat, and it tastes good. Oh, and we just opened up. We're getting 3 In-N-Out burgers. I don't get this, but Wiener Schnitzel's just opened up. So if that's something, that's a fast food chain you like, they just opened up in Meridian. I don't know. Are you a Wiener Schnitzel fan? I'm not. So, but anyways, so I'll put that down below. Okay, so let's jump into what you should know about our housing market and like cost of living here in Idaho. First of all, you're gonna save money from where you're coming from, regardless, just because to register your car is like $70. Maybe it's a little bit more. You get into all the Idaho State Park passes for free if you pay $20, and that will give you 2 years worth of access to any Idaho State Park for free. So that's anything. I mean, that's crazy. You're gonna save money on electricity, you're gonna save money on natural gas. The fuel cost to fill up, you're probably gonna save over time. You're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's only $2.99 to fill up. I was coming from $4.99. It's probably within $1 to 75-cent difference on fuel costs. You're gonna pay 6% sales tax at the grocery store. So, you know, that's, I don't know what you're paying right now, but you can kind of factor that in. There's a grocery store here called Winco. That is a really employee owned, and that is a great store, a really budget friendly store. A lot of people shop there just to kind of get the same products that you get in any other store. So you have options like that, but the cost of living is going to be significantly less. Now the housing prices, that's kind of where it's a little puzzling to a lot of people when they move here, because for so long, Boise has been known as like it's a really affordable place to live and the housing costs are cheap. It really isn't the case right now, although rare situations happen. Like we just got my friend Jason into a home for $230,000 in Nampa. And it's a fixer-upper, but he's a handyman. Like he can do all that stuff. He's a hard worker and can just knock it out. So he was able to get that house for nothing, but he's gonna put a lot of time and effort into it to bring it up. But I'd say in the most part, if you want to live in the Meridian area, you're going to be at $500,000 for a nice, you know, with a 3-car garage, 3-bed, 2-bath. You might not be in Northwest Meridian. You might be south of the freeway, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. To get into Eagle, you're going to, on the average, you know, you're going to be around the 700 to 800 price point. Star, you're going to be in the 500s, upper 500s maybe. So it just kind of depends on budget, but really, so the housing market as a whole is really hot right now. I don't know either. I don't know why that is either, because interest rates are 7%, but there's just such a shortage of homes, and builders right now are ramping up. They're going like crazy. One of the builders here locally, Hubble Homes, just got bought out by Richmond American Homes. So there's a lot of wheeling and dealing right now with builders. CBH Homes has a ton of inventory ready to go, and they're ramping up. If you're looking for 55 plus living, oh my gosh, there's a great community out in Star that Toll Brothers has that they just opened up, and that is selling like crazy. A lot of people here locally are downsizing from their home and they're moving into those smaller properties, still functional, but more amenities and less maintenance that you have to worry about. Those are starting in like the 400s. Multi-gen living is really coming into the Boise, Idaho area, where you have a house with a separate apartment for your mother-in-law or a family member, grandma, grandpa, and that's really popular too. And that's kind of been a big push for builders here in Idaho, is to kind of get that, because a lot of families are coming here and they don't want to leave their mom and dad or grandma and grandpa back in another state. So that has been really good. So with that being said, the housing market is really strong here. Homes aren't sitting very long, and if they are, maybe there's a lot of construction going on around that particular development that's maybe causing houses to sit a little bit longer just because of accessibility. But for the most part, you're going to be an average market around 40 days on our market when you see a house for sale. So you kind of have to act somewhat quickly. There are sellers that are still taking contingent offers. Maybe, you're seeing a house pop up and you gotta, sell your house first. That's where the Go Idaho team really is going to be strategic in having someone local here that can really talk to the realtors, that knows the realtors in the valley, has great relationships with them. If you have to sell your house first, but you need to make that move to Idaho, definitely contact us. I have a great team of agents. There's 10 of us that work with the Go Idaho team, and they are awesome. I've handpicked them, I've trained them, so they really have your best interests at heart, so don't hesitate to reach out. But really, finding that house, if you love it, you might want to have that conversation. You might want to call us and say, hey, Greg, you're talking in your video about, like, maybe I should reach out and call you regarding this house. Here's our situation. And then we'll kind of talk to you and have that conversation and say, you know what, let's see. Let me call and find out if they'll accept an offer like yours, and we can have that conversation before you go through the process. So just be prepared. So what you should know about the housing market is, surprisingly, it's moving fairly darn quickly here in Idaho, despite the interest rates. So the weather here in Idaho is a little like wonky, meaning like it's pretty mild. We're a high desert climate, so you have dry, cold air in the winter. Spring comes really quick. Our winter is really relatively short. It does snow. For the most part, it doesn't stick around very long, but if it's really cold outside, it'll stick. So just be mindful of that. The roads kind of clear up very quickly. But if we get, a snowstorm that we're not used to, maybe 4 inches to 6 inches on the ground overnight, usually the schools will shut down. No one's on the roads. It's pretty, until everything kind of gets caught up. Because in Boise area, we're just not equipped for a lot of snow to push around, just because we don't get a lot of snow that falls and sticks. So lots of lotion. You're going to have to switch up your lotion regimen. You'll go through tons of lotion in the winter and in the spring, and then the summer even it's dry heat, so it's pretty warm. And we get into the 80s, the 90s, the hundreds. Not very often the hundreds, but the high 90s, mid 90s is kind of our typical summer. So you just be prepared when you come here. You will have cold weather, you'll have wind, you'll have rain, not as much snow, but you'll get snow up in the Bogus Basin area, which is fantastic. That's where we want it, to keep it up in the mountains, and then have all the water runoff at the spring, and everything's great. So what to expect when you're making a move to Boise, Idaho, as far as weather goes, just be prepared. You don't need to go out and buy like a tank or a big old car just to get around for the winter months. Not at all. There's people who have sedans that drive around all winter long and do fantastic. If you don't have to work, and when you move here and you get a snowy day, no worries. Don't push it. Wait till the snow gets out. Wait till people have been driving on it who have to work, and then go out and enjoy it. But you're not gonna have to chain up on the side of the road while cars are plowing by you or anything like that. It's pretty mellow when it comes to that, which is the other thing that you should know about when making a move to Idaho, is people are pretty relaxed. You don't get a lot of high tense honking on the streets. People actually will stop at a stop sign and look and then go. So that's one thing a lot of people have said when they moved here, is like, man, Greg, it's a little bit of culture shock getting used to like the people who are, just like waving and just like driving the normal speed limit. So you always have those sour apples who are just like angry at something or they had a bad day, but people are very nice and friendly. They want to get to know you. They want to, learn about you, not in a creepy way. They just are like curious. They're just, hey, it's nice that you moved in next door. Where are you from? Oh, cool. What brought you to Idaho? Oh, awesome. Awesome. How many kids do you have? Oh, cool. Any pets? Stuff like that, really human connection. And a lot of people have missed that, and a lot of people comment like, oh my gosh, it's so great. I never forget, I had a gal move up here, and I think she's picking up medicine or she's at the grocery store. Anyways, she was having a rough day, and the checker just was starting to talk to her, and just waterworks came out, and they both hugged and built this little friendship, and it's genuine. And it's just people, they are who they are. They're real, and they just want to connect. So don't be shy. Don't be coming to Idaho and when someone waves, like, it's not awkward to wave back at all. It's not awkward to smile. It's not awkward to have someone, like when you're pushing your cart into the cart corral after you grocery shop, that someone will say, oh, hey, can I take that for you? That's normal. So people are pretty chill. People are really nice, and it's great when people are moving here who catch on to that and pay it forward. Idaho is not full. There is so much land here. There's so much opportunity. So when you hear people online saying Idaho's full, most likely it's someone from your state who just moved here that doesn't want anyone else to move here and ruin it for them. But there's so much space. There's so much opportunity for you to come to Idaho, really, reconnect. Whether that's a new marriage, whether that's something in your family and you just kind of need to reset, job, want a fresh start in a job, or you're retiring and you just kind of want to get out of the rat race and just come and kind of have a fresh start, kind of a new adventure, but really it unlocks the door to a whole new world, to outdoor fun, to recreation, to cool dining experiences, to meeting new friends who relocated here as well, who are kind of orphaned, don't really have their core group that maybe they left, or maybe it's been scattered because of previous years and what's happened there. But maybe it's just a situation where you're just like, yeah, I feel like it's time to make this move, and I feel like this is the right thing to do. I don't know why I'm being pulled to Idaho, but it just feels right. Follow that, and let's connect. Reach out to the Go Idaho team. We are here to help you. We want to help you. We want to be your go-to concierge team when it comes to relocating to Idaho. So don't hesitate to reach out. All my contact information is down below. I look forward to seeing you here in my office.